Airsoft is a weird sport because like it's a Japanese-made sport that was originally used to train the military, but it somehow went into the hands of the Americans and basically turned the sport into the closest thing to a BO2 lobby in real life. Because even though it's meant to be a military simulator and you would expect only like ex or current military people to be playing it, it has an oddly diverse group of characters that you'll just see on the field randomly. You will literally go onto the field and see a fully kitted kid with like an M4 with his Vietnam-themed dad or uncle next to a group of World War II reenactors and a fucking space marine. Remember how I said it's like a BO2 lobby? Well, actually, it would be more accurately described as like a squad or armor a game with mods. Sometimes Airsoft is like a simple game that you and a group of like 14 people play in the woods, and other times it's the Cairo Preco heist. Like, look at this! Dude is actively doing a Modern Warfare 2 mission. Like, people always like to try to compare this to paintball, but let me tell you, it's not even close. Paintball is like doing a Call of Duty gunfight tournament, while Airsoft is being in the Call of Duty missions. To compare how crazy Airsoft is to paintball, they have these things called milsims, right? And it's basically a more hardcore version of the sport. How hardcore, you might be asking? We're talking about playing with thousands of players for nearly a week straight with armored vehicles and tanks. And to make it even more realistic, they have civilians, towns, they have their own histories, their own like mayor elections, random like time events that just be happening in the middle of these battlefields. Like, how can you hear all that and say Airsoft is lame? Meanwhile, the only thing paintball has is looking like a NASCAR driver. Like, seriously, it does not even compete. But let me make it very clear. This sport is not cheap at all. Like, what the Like, some of the gear and the guns that you could be buying for this sport literally cost the same amount for a 2014 Toyota. Like, what the hell, man? Now, realistically, all you need to play is some protective eye gear and a rifle, and the average rifle costs around $200+. And you can also wear a hoodie in case you just don't want to get hurt. But even if that's all you have, it's kind of hard not to feel like you just got rebooted and all you have is a gray pistol. But before you feel like the odd one out, I just want you to remember that everyone that's ever played the sport has been in that situation before. So no, don't worry, they're not going to jump you in the middle of the night because you can't afford anything. If anything, they're probably going to let you borrow some of their stuff, if they're generous enough at least. However, not every player is a saint, and you sometimes do get a lot of people to just kind of ruin the fun. In Airsoft, you use a trust system, so like if you get shot at least once, and only once, you gotta call your hits. Basically, say you're dead and go back to your spawn. However, there's just some players that just kind of ignore that rule and they like to cheat. In other words, they go into God mode and act like the bullet just hit them was probably just a fly. And when you have cheaters in a sport where 90% of the players is a bunch of young adults who just got out of college, it tends not to go well. Please, never do this. What you just saw is the most degenerate group of players you'll ever meet. They don't have a name, but people just recognize them for their poor attempts to get famous on YouTube by mag dumping people. They usually think they're tough shit like King Von or something, but in reality, they just got a felony charge and formally banned at every field in the country. Because, surprise, surprise, this is assault, and simply saying, it's just a game, and it's just a toy, ain't going to drop the charges. Now, I want to be very clear that seeing players like this on fields is kind of rare, because, well, they're banned everywhere, but don't be surprised that you'll be playing with someone that has a very large ego. All I have to say is do not fall for their rage bait. They might call you a puss and a bunch of other shit, but just do not engage with them and just walk away. I also forgot to mention that it's not only military sims, there's also cowboy western, zombie apocalypse, and nuclear fallout sims. There are also huge events, but they're a different theme. And the people at these events are like really creative. Like sometimes they'll be in like their own armor and like cosplay, weapon, accessories, etc. Like it's basically just a Renaissance fair, but for like military-esque themes. There is quite literally something for everybody, so no one can get bored. Overall, this sport is a 10 out of 10, and I think everyone should give it a shot.